I don't understand this code. Chacha ji, could you help me with this? Why you trying to learn the assembly? Learn an easier language like the HTML, bro. Let me teaching you. Hello guys, in this video I'm going to teaching you the basic HTML code. Okay, so today I'm going to teach you the HTML code. So the first thing to understand is that the HTML is kind of like a house. It's like the foundation of the house, the wood. Then after that you can add CSS, which is more of like you have the paint, you get the furniture, and then a JavaScript is more like the electricity and the plumbing. Okay, so now we are in our folder for creating HTML code. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a new file called index.html, and yeah. So first line I'm going to type is this. So we're gonna type yeah doc type HTML, and basically what this is, it's telling the web page, yo, this is in the HTML language. Okay, now we're going to do HTML lang equals, and then we're gonna type en, and then we're gonna close this. And as you can see, we have HTML here. This is where all our code is. So for example, if I do that, all of our code is going to be inside here, and I just wrote a lang in en to specify the language is in English. Okay, now we are going to go here, and now we're going to type head. Okay. And I really recommend you use the VS Code for this because it just makes it so much easier. It automatically detects what you're going to write. So it's just much easier. You can use whatever you want, but I recommend using it. Okay, so now you have your head tags, and now you're gonna have your body tags. Okay, and that's basically a simple HTML web page. There's nothing in it though. And you may be seeing here, like for example, over here, you can see why is there a slash before the head. For example, there's a head here and there's a slash before the head. That is just saying, okay, wow. So we are going this whatever is in this area, it's going to end after this. So basically now I'm going to explain what these does, what the head and the body does. Okay, so basically, what the HTML tag is, it marks the start of the document and specifies the language. For example, I specified English language over here, and then the head tag, it contains all the information about this about the page, the web page. For example, let you can put text here, whatever you want, and the body element will contain all the content displayed by your like your web browser, like for example Google or Firefox or Opera. Doesn't matter, it's just gonna display that. And this closing tag for the HTML is going to mark the end of the document. Okay, so that's the basics of a HTML web page. Okay, so I just explained what all this does, but a tip for VS Code user, you can cancel all that. You can just type exclamation mark and then enter, and you have a simple web page right here. It's much better structured. It has the same tags we use. For example, the starting, it tells the web page it's an HTML. Then it's the HTML opening tag. All your code is in here. There's the head and the body tag, but it didn't have all of this. Metadata. It didn't have all of this. So this is just saying that the UTF-8 is the locale. I believe is locale, and this is just a bunch of other stuff. Okay, and as you can see, this is a title. This is a type of metadata you can add to your web page. So I'm just gonna change this. You can change this to whatever you want, but we're gonna write uh, web page one or one. Actually, no, we're just gonna do that. So basically, you can change your title. You can add more metadata if you want here in this head, but most of your changes are going to be in the body. For example, if you want to type a paragraph, you're going to do that here. Okay, so another thing you can do to your web page or website is you can add keywords. For example, let's just delete this and let's type keywords. And now, for example, let's say your website is like, for example, let's say it's a restaurant. If I search up a keyword, for example, I serve the desi food. If we search up on the search engine desi restaurant, keywords in the content of the keywords, you can put those in there, and then the search engine will be like, oh, okay, so we can recommend this or that. Okay, so that, so content, and then we can include desi, you know, actually let's desi um restaurant food, and 1 second, we can add that, and boom, that's our content right there. I'm just gonna go put this back because you don't, I was just showing you there, but you can do that. Also, another quick tip, let's say for example, you're coding a lot in your body, let's say you're doing a lot of that, you're coding, and you don't want to get confused next time. A quick tip to show you is you can add a comment. For example, you do this, this and this, and you have a comment, and then you can type uh, for example, a part, uh, whatever part, this part, for example, I was coding on image, and then you can, yeah, so that's wait 1 second, no, image, and then yeah, you can do that. So that's a comment in the HTML. Okay, so another thing I want to show you is that let's say we do h1 tag. So h1 tag is just a header. So let's do this is my web page, and then let's do for example another header, and this is going to say just blah 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 blah. No, I don't really care what is said in here. And then let's do maybe h2 tag, and then let's go just more blah 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 blah. I don't really care. We're gonna save this file, and now you can see that our text is here, and you may be wondering what's the problem. That is, you wrote this text, it should be all here. The thing is, when you get to bigger web page, you adding more things into the body, this can get quite messy. This is not going to do good, and you are going to get lost too. So what I recommend you doing, delete that, don't directly do h1, make a header tag, and inside that, this is your heading, so do h1, and then do your heading. So do this is my web page. Um, Wait 1 second. I'm just gonna capitalize web page. Okay, and now what you can do is now you can make let's say we want an article part. Let's do that, and then let's do another h1 tag, and boom. Now we can do this is the start of the article, and you can do just a p for like paragraph, and then you can write hello, this is start of article. Yeah, you split this into some parts, and then you can write for example footer, and boom, you can put whatever you want in this. For example, um made by Gonglu 2026. Now let's uh save this. See, this looks already more readable. This looks readable. See, you can see your header part is right here, your heading is right here, it's in its own section, your article is right here, it's in its own section, and your footer right here is in its own section. Now let's check it. See, look, it might not look different. It's probably not gonna look different, But the thing is, it's not for the look, it's more for the cleaner code. It's good to write clean code because in the future, when you are, let's say you have big project and you have messy code, you might not understand it in the future. So it's good to structure your code good. Okay, well, this is the end of this video.